Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more. Let's read Higurashi. So, last part was interesting, right? It was interesting. And interesting in the way that when you go to eat someone's food and they ask how is it and you say, "Well, it was quite interesting." And they take it to think that you mean it's like a negative way of saying it, but actually you're just you truly don't have the words to fully say how it is, and it actually was just an interesting experience. Like I made a salad today and it was like lettuce, carrots, green onions, mung beans, not mung beans, what are those? Little sprouts, little Chinese Asian sprouts, you know the ones. And then some mango with some ranch dressing, right? And you might be like, that sounds terrible. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was interesting, right? It's sort of like that, where the things that happened were truly intriguing. Between learning about the torture instruments, between the big thing is the mysterious noise that we didn't hear, which is, I mean, part of it might be like we're a guy and guys will sometimes just, there's a noise in the car, forget about it. We don't care. I've had that happen. But then again, Toмотake heard it too, so maybe it's not a thing, you know? I don't know. I don't know. So we're gonna have to see here. So it's a new day. Um, Everything that's going on with Mion and Shion still makes me want to cry. But hey, what's new? I let out a great big yawn. It was like morning had arrived just as I got to sleep. As Mom set up breakfast, she gave me a pained smile.
どうしたのケイチ。昨べは何時に寝たの？
Later than I'd like.
12時には寝たつもりだけど、昨日はなんだか寝つきが悪くてさ。
It happens.
お祭りではしゃぎすぎて興奮して眠れなかったんでしょ。
違うよ。
Yo, he's gonna munch. He's gonna crunch. I crunched down hard on the pickled radish to hide my embarrassment. Oh, that's good. Some pickled radish is good. You know what? I recently just bought a big jar of pickled garlic. And can I just say, you can just pop those bad boys in anytime, and they're so good. And the downside is, if anyone kisses you, they're gonna get a big mouthful. Here's the thing. Don't gotta worry about that. After all that happened yesterday, and our discussion about the sound Shion heard, that banging noise, like a child far away, I still think it was just Satoko on the roof jumping because she wanted to see. I'm like 99% certain. Jumping up and down on a wooden floor. That story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night, and I kept jumping at the slightest sounds of faraway tree branches, which should have been either unhearable or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty ashamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning. Ohio to you.
あれケイチくん目が真っ赤だよどうしてだろう
Took a fat boof. I'm not even gonna make that joke. That's like 500% unthinkable in Japan at this time. It's even nowadays, I was reading something, there was like another celebrity who got caught with weed in Japan, and they're been systematically removed from everything. They had a medical prescription for it, and even then they got removed from society over it. That's crazy. You guys gotta learn that weed is it has literal medical benefits.
どういうわけか寝つきが悪くてな。そんなわけで今日は寝不足だ。
昨日のお祭りは楽しかったね
That's a word we could use for it, sure. Well, I mean, I'd say most of it was. Just not that one part.
レナも興奮がなかなか冷めなくてなかなか寝れなかったんだよ
You seem to be fine, though. In Rena's case, her excitement seemed to still be wide awake.
こういうお祭りが何度もあればいいのにね。またみんなで大盛り上がり。は
まあ、そうだな。
Rena talking about the festival yesterday made me remember everything I had nearly forgotten from last night. Hi, music. Oh, flashback. The inside of the ritual storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright, everyday life of Hinamizawa. All those stories that Takano-san told me, too. Mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Watanagashi festival every year. The strange incidents where one person would die and one would disappear. The stories of Hinamizawa, flickering like a candle behind them. The numerous and horrifying traditions of Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them. The terrible cannibalistic feasts. The poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages, victims of the Onikakushi. To quell the rage of Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involved living sacrifices. There were also many, many others. There were so many stories that just remembering them put me in a foul mood. Most of them weren't fiction either. They were true. We didn't need to fear them because they were real, though. This had all happened so long ago. Such a very long time ago. It's not super long. I
み
mean,
ーちゃん遅いね。
oh yeah. Maybe she too went for Big Sleepy. Before I realized it, we had arrived at the place where we'd usually meet with Mion. Probably because I was so lost in
こ
thought.
の時間になっても来ないときは先に行ってもいい約束になってるんだけど、どうする？
Mion being late wasn't too rare an occurrence, but today she was, well, unusually late. A few of the ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die this year, and who would disappear? It couldn't have been Mion.
どうするかな、ケイチくん。もう行かないと遅刻になっちゃうかも。
来るよ。学校休むって電話があったわけじゃないだろ。もう5分待ってみようぜ。な。
Rena looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but then she nodded with a satisfied smile. We had to wait 5 minutes. We'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, well, we spotted Mion running towards us out of breath.
みーちゃん、遅い遅い。
待っててくれたわけ？先に行っちゃってもよかったのに。
Mion was breathing heavily and her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? Wasn't far enough away for her to end up like this. What? Huh. I'm gonna keep my eye on you today, Mion. That was me doing like air quotes. It's a little tough to tell.
具合
Right?
悪
Ah.
くない？
A little tough to tell. Huh? Yeah, now that she mentioned it, Rena pushed Mion's bangs away and put her hand to her forehead.
レナの手、冷たいな。
みーちゃん、ちょっとだけど熱あるよ。
Okay.
そんな大したことないよ。
I mean, she was just running, so...
半日もすればケロッと治っちゃうって。
本当に大丈夫かよ。あんまり無理するなよ。
あれ、ケイちゃん、気遣ってくれるの？嬉しいな。
That answer wasn't like Mion at all. She must have had it pretty bad.
無理しない方がいいと思うな。先生にはお休みだって伝えとくよ。
大丈夫大丈夫。風邪薬も飲んだし、すぐに効いてくると思うから。
I mean, that's great and all, but what if you, like, start falling asleep in class? Because I know that's what happens to me. It's like, oh, I'll take cold medicine so I can go to work. And then you take the cold medicine and you're like, never mind, this is killing me. I'm in bed. Good night. Mion forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us.
じゃあ行こうか。くれぐれも無理するなよ。 って言いながら
Wait, well, what is there?
時間
Oh, right, we gotta run.
走らないと間に合わない。
スリリングな朝になっちゃったね。鈍った体にはちょうどいいカツかもね。走ろ。
We're gonna run with our arms behind us. Like, well, this is before Naruto, right? So we'd have to, I don't know, well, ninjas, I guess those still existed. They ran with their arms behind them even before the Naruto. Hey, wait, you're sick, don't go overboard. Ion began to run vigorously anyway.
みーちゃんだって最上級生だよ。自分の体のことは自分で一番よくわかってるよ。
I decided to leave it at that and assume she was fine.
よし俺たちも行こうぜ
We began to run after Mion. I am so tired of the evening cicadas. I'm very excited for fall because I'm okay with them all going away. They are getting annoying. The school looked. I'm talking in real life, not in this game. I assume the Higurashi will stick around for all of Higurashi. In fact, they might even take on a bigger role. I'm still waiting. I mean, thematically, yeah, it's sort of like how Black Mirror isn't about Black Mirrors, but it's like a setting, right? How it's like no matter what happens in this village, the Higurashi, you know, they mark the evening. The scary things happen at night. I'm guessing that's kind of maybe a thematic meaning, unless there's a deeper meaning too. We don't know. The school looked the same as always. Well, not really, because we're using a different background this time, but the hours passed listlessly, and my lack of sleep soon took its toll. If there was a spot where people competed by sleeping, well, or sport rather, I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcoming this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Okay. Yeah, why, you ask? Yeah, no, I am. So you don't draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. I mean, I guess. If you're holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, would it? I mean, I guess. Bump a bump. Bump a bump. Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the back of the head 6 times.
何しやがる佐藤子
私は何もしてないでござい
Okay,
ます
so
わ。
she is still here. Because we lost her at the festival.
お前以外にこんないたずら誰がするんだよあ消しゴムじゃなくてチョークかえ
There she is. Behind me. Like a female outlaw might hold razors. Oh my god. Was the teacher's shadow holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. You know, the way CL holds her swords. K? Rumble, rumble, rumble.
前原くん、お顔を洗ってらっしゃい。
はい喜んで
It blows my mind that that's an actual thing. Like the throwing chalk at the student thing. As a as a vice principal. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but as a, as mostly as a teacher, that's because it only happens at the teacher stuff. But I don't know if you guys heard the news, but it's some new stuff in my life. It's, not to brag or anything, but just gonna say. Anyways, yeah, I just can't imagine this though, because even like if I had a student falling asleep, my first thought would be like the empathetic way of going like, "Hey, you okay? Do you need, like, what's wrong?" Right? Mind you, I've had students who fall asleep just because like they literally stayed up all night playing games, and I'd be like, "Okay, bud, let's have a talk about why you shouldn't do this." But the idea of throwing also, there's no chalk anymore. I guess I should also say that, right? I'm not going to throw a smartboard pen. Those things are expensive. But, maybe in Japan they still have chalk. I'm happy we mostly got rid of chalk. That stuff's make my allergies go bad. Anyways, but I flew. That alone was enough to wake me up. But I flew out into the hallway as if shoved out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power. We do have that though. We do have that. It's called hockey. If I was gonna wash my face anyway, then I would rather use the sinks out front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Oh, those are stinky. Thinking about that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance. That's a bright light. The sunlight was strong. So strong you wouldn't think it was June. Is there not normally sunlight in June? I associate that with sunlight, but okay. I turned the faucet, and with a lifeless, bubbling noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. I let it run for a few moments. Would it get cold? I looked at it absentmindedly for a while.
やっぱケイちゃんはこっちの流しを選んだか。
Wow. You got me pegged.
表の方が気分いいもんね。
ミオンか。授業サボるなよな。
I stuck my hands into the water to find it had gotten so cold that it seemed strange it had ever been warm. I scooped it up and splashed it against my face. Once I was done, I moved out of the way, and Mion did the same.
ミオン、具合の方はいいのかよ。
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I don't think splashing your face with cold water is a great thing if you have a cold.
眠いのは寝不足じゃなくて、薬の副作用なんだろ。
実は内緒なんだけど、昨日はお祭りの後で親族
Oh,
の
yeah,
宴会
okay,
に
no,
巻き込
no,
まれちゃ
actually,
ってさ。
okay. That's fair.
それで実はエンドレスに突入しちゃって。
Wait, are you hungover? A bit. She made a oh my god. Underage drinking. How dare you do it with family in a place that's a safe environment and is actually a good place for you to learn to see what the effects of it are so that you can, safely navigate life and it's not demonized in your household, making you want to go out and abuse it because then that leads to worse situations. How dare you? She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup into her mouth. Which means you didn't have a cold or
つ
anything.
まり、本当に寝不足なのかよ。徹夜明けならそうと言え、紛らわしい。
Well, she does say she's an old man. Dude, so here's the thing. Like, growing up, at least where we're from, like, this is pretty normal. And especially if you're in a small town, yeah, you're gonna have the parents giving you drinks, My first was, I was like 9 or 10 years old, and my grandpa gave me a beer. And I tried it, and it was the worst thing I'd ever had. I wanted to throw up, and it pushed me off alcohol until I was literally starting to work, and then I had a bad day at work, and my mom was like, "Let me help you with this," and I had a drink, and it was one of the best things ever, and now I can enjoy recreationally. I'm not a stick in the mud, right? But, like, I think, living in a house where there's a lot of open alcohol and my family would offer it to me even before I was old enough, I think that was a much healthier environment than when I hear about the families that were like, "You should never drink." I'm literally scratching my hand, this is crazy. They're like, "You should never drink because then that leads to, you know, abuse and stuff." So, yeah, it's interesting stuff. I always find that an interesting topic. I mean, would I say give your kids alcohol if they're underage? I would still probably say no, but I'd also say it's a better place for them to try it than with friends, at a party,
勘弁してよ。体調が悪いのは本当なんだからさ。
I suppose she'd be feeling lousy either way. Still, you treat colds and hangovers in completely different ways. Also, can I just say, well, not just say, but I can fully imagine the plot twist that, like, Mion and Shion are like 20 years old and Shion's graduated, but Mion just can't get out of school, man. She just can't. That's rough. I could totally see that.
心配して損したぞ。たく、ミオンらしいというかなんというか。
Interesting you said her name. Let's see how she reacts. I have a bug bite and I'm scratching it and I hate it. Mion scratched her head, a little embarrassed. Okay, that's normal. She didn't seem to be feeling well, but now that I knew it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry too much. It'll go away with time after all.
あ、でも頭がガンガンするのは本当。だからさ、 さっき先生に早退していいって言われちゃった。
How did that go over, I wonder?
あ、ずるいやつ。じゃあミオンはもうこれで帰りなのか？
How would that go over? How do you... Now that I looked again, Mion had her bag with her. She must have been on her way home.
申し訳ないけどね。今日は家でおとなしく寝させてもらうわ。部活できなくて申し訳ないね。
It's okay, it's kind of stopped being a thing after a
今日
while.
はケイちゃんがリーダーって
Oh,
ことで
maybe
やっ
not.
てくれない？
多分無理だと思うぜ。
Yeah.
俺たち部活は全員揃った時しかやらないっていう暗黙の了解があるだろう。ミオンがバイトに行ってる時はいつもそのままお開きだったんだぜ。
Mion laughed wryly, saying we didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about your friends who can't share in it is a sign of a really fantastic friendship. That's what we have, Mion. Friendship. Read it on my face. Friendship. In that sense, the club Mion has created is a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. If I didn't get back to the classroom soon, well, I'd be in trouble. She would hit me with the CL salt, the somersault CL salt, and then do throw air knives and yeah.
じゃあな、俺は教室に戻るぜ。帰りは気をつけろよ。ふらふらして側溝や用水路に落ちるなよ。
Do we even have sewers here? I left it at that, turned around, and started heading back to the classroom.
そうそう、ケイちゃん。
All right, Columbo. Oh God, what if this is a Columbo thing? Mion stopped me, and I turned my head to
なん
listen.
だ？
変なこと聞くけど、深く考えないで答えてね。
If someone told this to me, this would just ruin my day. Because I'd be like, what do you mean?
それは内容によりけりだな。
Yeah, well, what's it? She's like, don't worry about it.
昨日の綿流しの晩さ、富武さんと高野さんに会わなかった？
Oh no. Oh no. I suddenly tensed up.
富武さんと高野さんはわかるよね。ほらケイちゃん、お祭りの前日準備の時、シオンと一緒に4人でお話ししてたでしょ？
Mm-hmm. If I could, I wanted to forget about sneaking to that storehouse that night as soon as possible. So hearing the names of the people I was there with at the time really got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mion asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. Was she asking to see if I had seen them or not? Or was she asking the question knowing that I had? I couldn't tell.
さあ、どうかな。あったような、合わなかったような。
My vague response was clearly not to Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? There was no way for me to know.
そう。じゃあもう一つ質問ね。
Oh God, she's Columboing us.
同じく夕べ、シオンに会わなかった？
I'm scared. My heart leapt into my throat again. The tiny needles buried underneath Mion's words pricked into me.
それ、昨日も聞いたよな。俺、あったかどうかわからないって答えたと思ったぜ。
ん？そうだっけ？また改めて聞いたら違う答えが返ってくるかなって思ってさ。
What do you mean by that? Also, what is this expression? What does it look like? Oh, it's the clear eyes. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, that's the scariest one. Yeah. Okay. This is just kind of weird. That one's terrifying. And this one's kind of a mix between the two, which is kind of just how it goes. I suddenly noticed something in Mion's eyes. Something indescribable. Oh no, we got the blank eye stuff going on again. Tomitaki-san and Takano-san. Shion, too. She was asking me about them. There was no doubt about it. Last night, the four of us snuck into the ritual storehouse. She knew everything. So what? It's not really a curse anyway. That's right. Even Shion and Takano-san said yesterday during the festival that there was no curse. And that rather than a curse, it was the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Mion was, almost without a doubt, aware that we snuck into the storehouse. It was nothing strange. I screwed up bad flipping on the light switch last night. If Mion had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen that momentary light and come to find out what was going on.
本当に会ってないんだね。
どうして会ったかどうかをそんなに気にするんだよ。
大したことじゃないの。富武さんと高野さんとシオンとケイちゃんをね、悪く言ってる人たちがいるの。
Oh no. Oh no.
何が悪いんだかはよく聞いてないんだけどね。
Someone, all it takes is one person to find out and that's it. The whole village will know. Unpleasant sweat dripped down my arms, and the sound of it hanging from my fingertips was so annoyingly loud.
私、ケイちゃんが悪いことをするなんて信じてないから。でも、ちょっとだけ聞いてみたかったから聞いてみたの。不愉快な思いをさせてごめんね。
I found myself unable to reply. My reaction must have made it obvious what the truth was, and yet I couldn't explain myself.
ケイちゃんは富武さんとも高野さんとも、そしてシオンとも一緒じゃなかった。そうだよね。
ああ。
We're so bad at lying. I finally wrung out an answer between ragged breaths. Mion's expression softened a little.
よかった。私言っとくね。ケイちゃんは何にも悪いことには加わってない
Oh
って。
God.
みんなにちゃんと言っておくからね。
Why does everyone know? Yeah. Please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone. Make sure. Everyone. Everyone. Who is everyone?
じゃあね。明日は元気になってるから。
I might not
バイ
be.
バイ。
Bye-bye. Wait, Mion. What do you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck.
こら、
Oh, it's just the teacher. Oh, well.
遅いですよ前原くん。
Oh.
顔を洗うだけなのに時間がかかりすぎです。
You know, with a face like this, it takes a while. It was the teacher. I was taking so long. She came to get me.
あ、すみません。ついミオンとおしゃべりを。
I turned around, but Mio had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing it, was now standing at the gate.
さあ、お勉強に戻りますよ。早く早く。
The teacher was being insistent. We returned to the entrance. I looked back one more time, and Mion was nowhere in sight.
Keiichi, 今日はずっと元気がないのです。昨日大はしゃぎしすぎたからに違いありませんわ。
迷子になって目を真っ赤にさせて半泣きしてたやつに言われたくねえ。
ゆうべのさとこちゃん、可愛かったよ。は
Like, where was she? Was she up a tree or something? My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it didn't lighten the mood. Was it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something terrible last night? These thoughts remained with me for, well, the rest of the day.
ケイチくん。また明日ね。
By the time I realized it, well, I was in front of my own house.
みーちゃんも風邪だったみたいだけど、ひょっとしてケイチくんもなのかな
I don't think we have to worry about her sending that to me.
大丈夫だよ。こう見えても風邪で休んだことはないんだぜ。
That's crazy, bro.
でも、
I
みー
get
ちゃん
one.
もケ
I
イチ
get
く
at
んも
least like 2 every
今日は
year.
具合が悪そうだし。
気にしてくれてありがとな。大丈夫。バカは風邪ひかないんだぜ。
What a like honestly, what a funny phrase. Like, and I think we brought up this exact phrase before where it's like it comes up in all sorts of like anime and stuff. And I did look up where it came from once. And it has a stupid origin, which is very fitting. Rena smiled, then waved to me and left. Whew. My shoulders bobbing up and down and breathing heavily, I entered the house. As soon as I got back in, Mom called out to me.
何？
ケイチ、悪いんだけど図書館に行って本を返してきてくれない？
Oh. Lie, Barbie.
めんどくさいな。
I go for a walk.
お父さんも母さんも今ね、ちょっと電話待ちをしてるところで家を開けられないの。
God, what a hell world before cell phones.
返却期限も今日までだし、お願いできない？
I mean, I say that, but also it's the tiny box that gives me depression, so... Sheesh! Had to try and get one of those in. Did it have to do with Dad's job? No point in arguing if they bring that
仕
up.
方ないな。でも俺、図書館がどこにあるか知らないよ。
What a time before Google Maps.
あら、知らないの？沖宮の駅前をちょっと進んで。
Oh. Oh, well, just then the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. Oh, great, my dad's gonna lose his job. Mom snatched up the receiver.
もしもし、前原です。はい？はい、おりますけど。
Oh, wait, what? Then she thrusts the receiver at my face.
ケイイチに電話よ。早めに終わらせてね。
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're waiting for a call, we should probably not take this, but... I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. It's gonna be Shion.
もしもし。
It's gonna be Shion.
園崎の妹の方です。
Yep.
こんにちは。今はお時間大丈夫ですか？
Not a ton. It was Shion. The older sister had a hangover today, but the younger one made no reference to it.
シオンか。ミオンと同じで、今日は徹夜明けで寝込んでるんじゃないかと思ったぜ。
それじゃあおね、今日はずる休みですか？おねらしい。
That says a lot about her. She laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up.
ごめんな。ちょっと親が電話待ちをしてるんで、そんなに長話はできないんだ。何の用だ？
お話ししたいことがあったんですけど、長電話が無理じゃ仕方な
But
いですね。
thankfully, we're going up to Okonomiya Station. She sounded a little disappointed. What would Shion want to talk to me about? No, I was interested.
じゃあさ、会って話をしないか？ついでに図書館にも案内してもらえるとありがたい。
図書館って駅前の私立図書館ですか？別にいいですよ。バイトのついでってことで。
じゃあ、いつもミオンと待ち合わせてる場所わかる？園崎家の小道に分かれる分岐の。
ケイちゃん言ってませんでしたっけ？私本家じゃなくて沖宮の家に
Oh
住
yeah,
んで
no,
るんですよ。
we learned this.
だから待ち合わせ場所は沖宮駅の改札前なんかにしてくれた方が嬉しいんですけど。
Main house? Living in Okonomiya? I thought we were taught this. Wait. Did he not know this? How did we know this but not him? Now that you mention it, it always seemed like the Sonozaki sisters weren't communicating. Did they live in different houses? Yes! I'm pretty sure we were explicitly told this. That she never met the younger sister just by going over to play sometimes. Why did I know this but he didn't?
じゃあ、駅に集合な。
Was this in one of the tip menu things?
すぐに行くよ。
Huh.
じゃあ。
I set the receiver down and Mom immediately thrust a large pile of library books in my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels. Mom had her own hobbies. Well, hey, buddy, You should be happy it's not the spicy books, as now a lot of moms are reading and leaving around the house. That's a whole thing.
ケイチ、よろしくね。お夕飯までには帰るのよ。
No promises with this game.
じゃあ行ってくれよ。
I suppose I changed my clothes and grabbed my bike key. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Shion had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process.
ミオンと違ってシオンは待ち合わせ時間を守るな。しみじみ。
おねを標準にされるといろいろと困ります。
Shion seemed a little unsteady, too. She was drinking with Mion last night, wasn't she? Or this is me. See, now I'm starting to be like, okay. Did they switch? Did they switch or something? No. Or is this Mion? I don't know. I'm gonna go crazy thinking about
お
this.
前も夕べは寝てないんだろ。隠しても無駄だぞ。で、学校を早退したに違いない。
残念でした。私はそもそも今日はずる休みしてますので。
Actually, come to think of it, we've never been told that she goes to school, have we? We speculated that she went to school. Was I right? Is Mion an adult who just keeps failing school? Oh no.
私、おねより容量いいですから。
Oh my god, that line right after that, huh? Oh no. Hey, I don't think you can call playing hooky smarter. Oh my god, am I correct? Has she graduated? And Mion just can't get through school?
じゃあ、先に用事を片付けます？時間もそんなにないですから。図書館へ行くんですよね。
ああ、頼むよ。
Let's see here.
お袋の借りてる本の返却期限が今日までらしいんで。図書館は遠いのか？
Oh my god. That would then make sense why she's working at like a cafe with the perverts and stuff. Is she an adult? And Mion... Well, this is interesting.
すぐ近くですよ。
Okay, library. As she said that, we spotted the signboard for the library almost immediately. Almost like I could have found this myself, but, you know. If it was this easy to find, I guess I didn't need Shion to show me where it was after all. We rode around the bend, and the building was right there. Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expected too much, but no, it was pretty big. Well, no, because think about it. In like a city, you might have a lot of smaller libraries, but in the country, you got to have one big one for, you know, everyone who lives in the entire area to come to that one. First floor was actually a government office. Oh, well, okay, now that also makes sense. The library was only on the second floor, but it still looked large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by a breeze of an air curtain. I love this worm. I love this worm. Look at him. What a little guy. What a little fella. No smoking in here, though. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet inside the library, as it should be. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique to old
ど
paper.
この図書館も似たようなもんだな。
No, but okay. If there was one difference, it was that people studying for tests weren't taking up all the seats. I was one of those people, but now that seemed like a distant memory.
すみません、返却に来ました。
The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. I'm shocked they don't just have the thing where you just like drop in like the books, like a little like, you know, mailbox thing. You know, we had that at most of our libraries. We also had that for like Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster. I miss Blockbuster so much. Shion was going around the bookshelves with a deeply interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who went to libraries very often.
悪いな、お待たせ。終わったよ。
図書館って涼しくていいところですね。私、将来は図書館で働きたいです。
Well, don't dream too big.
地味というか堅実というか、姉と比べると随分とささやかな希望だな。
Mion would definitely want to be a hardworking employee for an international trading company or some other crazy job that involved her running all around the world. Compared to that, well, what Shion said is pretty heartwarming.
まあ、互いの持ち味を大切にしたいですよね。私たち分身じゃなくてシオンとミオンというちゃんとした個人なんですから。
双子は双子なりにいろいろと考えてるんだな。でも楽しそうだよな。俺には兄弟はいないから、うちには俺以外は親しかいない。窮屈なもんだよ。
私だってそうです。
Can I just say? Every only child who complains about being an only child? No, you don't. You I'm making a lot of enemies with this playthrough. Last time it was tall people. Now it's only children.
お姉とは一緒に住んでるわけじゃないですから。
I mean, I love my sister though. She's honestly one of my favorite people I know. But at the same time, you only children have no idea how good you have it. But I love my sister. She's genuinely one of my favorite people to talk to all the time. All right, she said something like that, didn't she? Why though? Sisters living apart is unusual. We were getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, and continuing the conversation.
え、お姉は本家に、私は沖宮の家に住んでるんです。
本家ってなんだ？随分と立派な響きがあるけどな。
本家は本家です。園崎家の本家。お姉は跡取りだから、バッチャと一緒に住んで、いろいろと当主としての修行をさせられてるみたいです。
Mion, the head of the family. I mean, kind of fit her personality, but kind of didn't too.
ケイちゃんは引っ越してきたばかりでしたよね。自分で言うのもなんですけど、園崎家ってここいらじゃ結構名士なんですよ。
え、本当かよ。
The word personage didn't really match the extremely sociable air that Mion and Shion gave off. From what Shion explained, the Sonozaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful ventures and extended their influence to a wide area.
園崎家はですね、親族全体で助け合う土壌があるんです。今の当主のバッチャが築き上げたんですけどね。
The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with a business venture. They were like a huge living company. This let them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeed one after another using large amounts of money. We meet the true villain, tax evasion.
沖宮の街を歩くことがあったら、看板とかを意識してみてください。
Oh my god, is there like a sign?
園崎の親族が経営しているお店っ
Is there,
て
is there a
とても多いん
sign
ですよ。
to denote a Sonozaki place? That'd be crazy, like a small little like flower design.
言われてみれば、例のおもちゃ屋も親類の人が
Yep.
経営してるみたいだ
That one we knew, right? Probably the diner too,
そう
right?
いえば、エンジェルモート
Yeah.
も親類の人が経営してるんじゃないのか？
Even what few shops I was familiar with were involved with the Sonozaki family. It was definitely surprising.
特に金融不動産関係は強いですね。あと商工会議所の役員も何割かは園崎姓かその親類がついてます。
Well, that must make like meetings very confusing.
沖宮一帯を評伝に市議会議員と県議会議員にも園崎がいますし。
Yeah, when you're voting for them, it must just be like the O section must be massive.
ちょっと待て。なんだかすごい話になってきたぞ。
Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okunomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate. On top of that, a lot of those... Oh, no, the text off screen! Almost. On top of that, A lot of those in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry are relatives, and there are even people elected to local
ひょっ
offices.
として園崎家ってこの辺り一帯じゃすごいんじゃ。
I'd think infamous is the better word here.
ねえ。
Oh, ha! Jump scared.
すごいんです。
Wait, is this library above you? I was gonna say that I thought they were just reusing this. Are we above your office? All of a sudden, a cigarette-smoking overweight old man interrupted her conversation. Wait, I know this guy.
どうも、こんにちは。今日はデートですかな？羨ましいですね。
そうだと思ったら邪魔しないでほしかったですね。
Oh my god, yes, call him
大
out.
石さん。
That was it. He was Oishi-san, a police officer. I thought it was the person who came to my rescue when I got involved with those delinquents before. Now I thought about it. Mion didn't seem to like him very much.
いえいえ、すみません。知ってる声が聞こえてきたのでついつい。
Oishi-san laughed coarsely, not showing any sign of giving up. As Shion watched him do so, I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion.
前原さんでしたよね。あなたもタフな人ですね。園崎姉妹を二股かけるなんて。
いやそんな二股だなんて。
I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained her silence. Grin, that's what we're calling that expression? That's a grin? Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock.
ごめんなさい、ケイちゃん。私もうバイトの時間なんです。
そうなのか？
Wait, didn't Shion have something to talk about today? Now this weird man is here, though.
また今度。あ、バイトが終わったら電話し
Oh,
ます。
okay.
夜なら電話大丈夫ですよね。
Yeah,
ああ大丈夫だと思う。
じゃあ今夜電話しますので、その時に。
the fact that it has to be on the phone is scary.
Ja.
Shion left so fast she was practically running. Oishi-san was waving at me with a grin. I felt like I had been left here as bait, so she could get away. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work.
園崎のご令嬢とこれだけ親しくできるなんて。前原さんもなかなかの大物ですね。私も口の利き方を改めた方がいいかもしれません。
Oishi-san put a coin into a vending machine, as it says something a bit
ア
appalling.
イスティーでいいですか？ミルクは入れます？
What? Gross. What? No. Oh, wait. Well, if it's like a milk tea, then sure, but that's different.
いえ
じゃあ入れますよ。
Gross, but okay.
はいどうぞ。
He handed me a cup of tea filled to the brim with ice as I looked on absent-mindedly. I don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me, so I'll thank him. Was Oishi-san just killing time? We did know each other well, but he still engaged me in conversation about all sorts of dumb things. When I thought back to how I talked with Shion, it seemed like a total disaster.
前原さんは園崎さんのことをどれくらいご存知で？
Which one?
さっき聞いた以上のことは何
You're
も。
talking about Shion there? Until then, I hadn't known anything about Mion or Shion other than the fact that they were interesting. I really only did just learn she was the daughter of some prestigious family.
園崎家はこの地域一帯
Okay, you know, so
ヤクザ屋さんです。
when I heard main house, when I heard like the main member, I was thinking to myself, she's kind of like Taiga Fujimura, who, and you know, I was thinking, are they like Yakuza related? They are.
ちなみに彼女のお父さんは関東でも有名なヤクザの大幹部さんで
I heard
す。
Kanto in there, so they censored it though.
ご存知でした？
Well, that changes a lot.
大幹部って。
シオンさんのご自宅をご存知ないんですか？高い塀に有刺鉄線と監視カメラで守られた典型的なヤクザの組長宅ですよ。今度ぜひ遊びに行ってみてください。
Interesting, it's where Shion lives. It's not the main house, though. She mentioned Mion being a successor, but to a Yakuza group.
いえいえいえいえいえいえ。 まさかまさか。園崎美音さんが継ぐのはそんなちんけ
Oh,
な
wait,
ヤ
what?
クザ組織だけじゃあ
I
りま
thought
せ
you were
ん。
going in another direction.
彼女が継ぐのは園崎家そのものですよ。
Okay.
そのあたりの意味、
Okay.
ちょっと噛み締めていただけますかな。
Oishi-san had spoke lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable.
ミオンさんがその気になれば、往来の真ん中で人殺しをしたってもみ消せちゃうかもしれないんですよ。
I mean, I kind of got that from that one incident.
証人は現れないだろうし、警察にだって圧力をかけられますし。
ミオンは人殺しなんかしないぞ。
なしませんしません、ものの例えですよ。
大石さんでしたっけ、名前。
ねえ、そうです。
大石さん、ミオンの家が何だろうと、ミオンは俺の誇れる最高の友人です。それをあまりけなすような言い方は好きになれないですね。
I let my quiet anger show through in my gaze as I stared at him. Of course, I could never seem to tell what he's thinking, so I didn't know if it had any effect.
ではざっくばらんに、
I thought you were Oishi.
そのミオンさんにいくつかの事件の嫌疑がかかっているとしたらどう思います？
Suspected? Incidents? You can't just say terrible stuff like that on a whim.
何かの誤解に決まってるじゃないですか。ミオンは物騒なことを言うやつだけど、そんな悪いことをするようなやつじゃない。
前原さん、お静かにお静かに。ここ図書館ですから。
Oh, is this place owned by them too? Oishi-san shushed me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I was, I wouldn't be calm so easily.
落ち着いてください。さっきも申し上げました通り、園崎家はいい意味でも悪い意味でもこの辺り一帯で強い力を持っているんです。ですからちょっと何かあるとすぐに疑いがかかってしまう。その辺りをご理解いただきたいのですよ。
Well, I know what Oishi-san is trying to say. Combining it with what Shion told me before, Sonozaki family is huge and controls everything from Hinamizawa to Okonomiya. Mion, meanwhile, is its successor, who apparently holds strong influence over the entire family. Still, that's all? That's the only reason they're suspecting her?
ですから私だって仕事で仕方なくやってるんです。ミオンさんを疑うためでなく、ミオンさんの疑いを晴らすために捜査をしている。そうお考えいただきたいのです。
He could talk a dog out of a meat truck. That's a good phrase. He was the definition of a shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I'd met him.
大石さん、ひょっとして俺に用なんですか？
ねえ、そうですよ。
Oh boy.
前原圭一さん。
He answered in an absent tone of voice.
何かの事件でミオンを疑っていて、その友人の俺に何か聞きに来た。そういうことですか？
いえいえ、違います。私は園崎ミオンさんの友人と話をしに来たのではなく、前原圭一さんに話をしに来たのです。ご自宅にお伺いしたらご迷惑でしたでしょうからね。
俺に警察が何の用だって言うんですか？
Having realized this faked coincidental meeting had me as its target, my mood immediately turned foul.
そんなに構えなくて大丈夫ですよ。肩を楽にして、ちょっと質
Oh,
問に
this is
答えて
scary.
くだ
This
さる
is
だけでいいん
scary.
です。
I don't like this.
それって職務質問ってやつですか？
偶然知り合ったおじさんとの世間話ってことにしましょう。
Oishi-san freely suggested that I relax. That said, behind his eyes was a light, which I could only see sometimes, and was sharp as a hawk. I tried in vain to run away. It might actually take me in and bring me to an interrogation room or something. That was an undoubtedly unpleasant
ゆ
thought.
うべは渡長市のお祭り。
Oh God, does he know?
楽しかったですね。
はぐらかさないでください。今さら世間話なんかされても。
昨日の綿流しの晩、富武二郎さんと
Oh
高野
God.
美代さんにお会いしませんでしたか？
Nope. I could plainly feel myself give a
あれ、
start.
写真はどこに行っちゃったかな？ああ、あったあった。
He opened a small notebook and removed 2 photographs. I didn't have to look.
さあ、どうでしょう。あったような、合わなかったような。
I was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time too.
あれ、記憶が曖昧ですか？まさかアルコールが入っててよく覚えてないなんてのはなしにしてくださいよ。
Here too, I got the same answers I had from Mion. I realized he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me? The same thing Mion did. The dark feelings I had nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. We snuck into the sacred ritual storehouse, a punishable act. It was on a tiny impulse. While it may not count for much now, I do feel sorry about it.
もう一度お聞きしますよ。夕べのお祭りで富武二郎さんと高野美代さんにお会いしませんでしたか？
His tone was soft, but there was a dreadfulness in his voice clearly different from the last time he asked. I'm scared. That was exactly how I felt.
繰り返し聞かれても、答えはさっきと同じで
Oh,
す。
we are so bad at lying. I don't really remember. There wasn't any better answer I could give him. I didn't have the balls to say I didn't see them, nor the courage to admit I had.
そうですか。改めて聞けば、さっきとは違う答えが返ってくるかなと思いましてね。
I'm too scared to look Oishi-san in the eyes.
では、質問を変えます。ほら、
Oh, that's
前原さん、
close. Oh, when they come close, it scares me.
リラックス、リラックス。
Oishi-san grabbed my shoulders and squeezed them as if trying to give me a massage. It mostly just hurt, though. Still, why would he ask the same things as Mion? If he's asking the same things, then the next question must be,
同じく夕べのお祭りなんですが、園崎しおんさんにお会いしませんでしたか？
clatter, clatter, clatter. I wonder what that sound was. When I looked down, I saw it was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands. My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and forth. Realizing that, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crunched down on it.
すみません。あったかもしれないですけど、ほら、ミオンにもそっくりですから、ミオンと見間違えてるかも。
そんなわけはないでしょう。
Whoa! Wait, this is a new face. I don't think we've seen this sort of smug face, have we? No. Oh, well, maybe in that art style. Okay, wait, that hits with the clearly you don't own an air fryer, there, but that's what this must be what it's like to be a deer in the headlights. I want to look away, but I can't. It's the first time I've experienced such a piercing stare.
ミオンさんもシオンさんも服装は全然違うんですから、そう簡単に見間違えるはずはありませんよ。前原さん。
His voice was harsh. Harsh. The same as when Mion said it. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. When I realized he could feel it through the hands on my shoulders, I got even more scared. Oh my god, was he doing this to take our pulse? Why are Mion and Oishi-san both asking about last night? Was sneaking into that storehouse so bad? I shouldn't have let Takano-san talk me into it. Tomitake-san casually said to check it out too, so, well, even Shion, if she hadn't encouraged me. No, I understood. I was the one most at fault here. I shouldn't have let my curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into that forbidden storehouse. Oh boy.
おいさん
Hello, guy. Okay, no, that is a remake only character. Cause I mean, I'll be honest, or console only. I'll be honest. These two don't look too like wrong side by side. Some people say that the remake NPCs like will ruin it, but I don't think they look too bad with this. I think I like this. I would not call this an art style clash.
ホタルの光っす
A young man wearing a suit came into the lounge. From the way he held himself, I knew immediately that he was Oishi-san's subordinate.
んあれは本当だ。もう閉館なんですね。
I hadn't realized it until he said something. The jingle and announcement telling patrons the library had closed had started playing without me realizing it. I was so irritated, so overwhelmed that I couldn't even hear it.
じゃあ前原君、もうこんな時間なんで私たちは失礼させてもらいます。このお話はもっと時間のある時にのんびりといたしましょう。
This wasn't a joke. If I never saw him again, it'd be too soon. Oishi-san followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around.
そうそう前原さん。
なんですか？
さっきさせてもらった2つの質問ですが、どちらの回答もよく覚えてないでしたよね。
はい。
参考までに。あなた、昨日全員にお会いしてますよ。4人で楽しそうに歩いてたじゃないですか。
Oh God, did he see us?
石段のところで。私がこの目で見て
Oh
ますか
God. I caught my breath, and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. What a detestable person. He knew, and he was testing me.
ではまた。良いお年を。
Oh, I hate how you say that. I sat there like a rock, unmoving, until I could no longer hear the clacking sounds of their footsteps. God. God. We make one mistake and our whole world falls apart around us, huh? It's what it feels like, man. And now we gotta get the phone call with Shion. I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I'd thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down, little by an indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bike and was pushing it uphill. Is that a car? I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. No. In fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. What happened yesterday really was just my curiosity. Really was no more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements. Hollowed ground, only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure, I'd seen terrifying things that I never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. What the four of us did, well, Mion seemed to know about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the four of us did. Did we do something so bad? Really, it doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, and yet, I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Mion or Oishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. I set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't ever do something like that again either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Interesting word choice there, buddy. If I apologize like that, would they forgive me? The suddenly cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, however, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. I trudged along such an isolated road. Regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home, go to my room, put on Green Day or something, and go to bed. I might sound plain and boring, well, at least it's not Imagine Dragons. It was probably the strongest I felt all day. Now that I made a decision, there's no point dawdling around in a place like this. I sat back up on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. That was almost a perfect, cutoff point for the music. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself and returning to my bedroom. My mom called me from downstairs. Phone?
電話よ
Yeah.
園崎さんから
Sonozaki? Was it Mion? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi-san had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. Don't you have a phone right there, buddy?
もしもし、シオンか。
どうも、今日は災難でしたね。
She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and
そ
ran.
んなこと言わないでください。私、ケイちゃんに一緒に逃げようってサインを送ったじゃないですか。なのにケイちゃん、ぼさっと残っちゃって。
ボサってことはないだろう。シオンがあっという間に置いてきぼりにしたんで、あの後俺は大石のおっさんにたっぷり付き合わされたんだぜ。
そんなの、私に愚痴られても困ります。
I can't believe she passed it off just like that. She looks just like Mion, yet inside she's this different. I got a little irritated at myself when I realized I was, somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mion, even though she's a different person.
ああ、悪かったよ。次からはシオンを置いてくぐらいのつもりで。
できればレディーファーストでお願いします。
Shion laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be...
それより、俺に何か話があるんだろ。
はい、もしも、もう知ってるなら、改めて言うような話じゃないんです。知ってますか？
Oh boy. Shion lowered her voice suddenly as if she were glancing around. Tomatake's dead, right? I had no idea what I could already know.
悪いけど、何のことかさっぱりわからないぞ。ヒントくらい出せ。
ってことは、知らないみたいですね。
She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. However, her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest.
実は、昨日の綿流しのお祭りの晩なんですけど。
My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing?
もしもし、ケイちゃん、聞いてます？
ああ、聞いてる。昨日の晩どうしたんだよ。
私たち4人、入ったじゃないですか。
She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual, honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened.
それでその後、みんなで歩いて、石段のあたりで私たち、みんな別れましたよね。高野さんたちは沢に行って、ケイちゃんはその場に残って、私は親類の人たちのところに行っちゃって。
ああ、それがどうした？
お互い、質問の返し合いになっちゃうと拉致が開かないんで、いいですか？
ゆうべ、富武さんと高野さんに会いませんでしたか？
はい、あの後、あの二人には会いましたか？
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. It's the third time I've been asked this. Well, no, this is a slightly different question, I feel. Okay, but it's the third time we've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell was going on?
どうしてだよ。だからどうしてそれを俺に聞くんだよ。
ほ ほらほら、ケイちゃん。
Oh my god. Okay, his reaction makes it seem like everyone's gonna be like, of course they're gonna think you're the killer when you respond like that.
質問は私からのはずです。答えてください。
シオンはあったのか？シオンが先に答えたら俺も答える。
My shabby response betrayed how small and scared I felt now, after everything that had happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me.
もちろん、会ってません。一緒にいた親類が証明できます。
俺だって会ってない。証明って言うならミオンとかレナとかみんながしてくれる。
Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else.
正直に答えてくれて、じゃあ、言いますね。
There we go.
ゆうべ、高野さんと富武さんが死んだんだそうです。
Wait. They both died.
ごめん、シオン。今なんて言った？
ゆうべ、高野さんと富武さんが死んだんだそうです。
They both died. That's different.
高野さんは焼死体で、富武さんは自殺みたいな感じで。
That's different from last
今朝知
time.
ったんです。お父さんが親類の人からの電話で話してるのを聞いて。
Late last night, a police car on its way back from festival security duty had discovered Tomitake-san lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okonomiya. Okay, so same way. He had clawed out his throat and died. But the burning is
なん
different.
だよ。喉をかきむしっての自殺って。あの明るそうな富武さんが自殺？何かの間違いだろ？
警察がちゃんと検視した自分の爪で。
Yeah, line was very short.
ガリガリと喉をかきむしって血管を破いて血をドバドバ出して自分の血で溺れ死んだんだって。
そんなバカな自殺、自分の喉をかき破るなんておかしすぎる。
I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my room.
大声出してごめん。で、高野さんも自殺なのか？
高野さんは自殺かどうかちょっと。
I mean, self-immolation is a thing, but Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a restaurant nearby reported to the police last night that they could see flames in the mountains. The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was a burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after that there was a request for identical comparison from the blah 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 prefectural police station in Okonomiya, and the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, since she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area. But wait,
灯油缶が転がってたそうなんで、焼身
she
自殺の
burned,
線もあるそう
but
です。
her underwear was still okay? That's crazy. Unless they mean the remains of the underwear.
自殺なわけあるものか。同じ死ぬならもっと楽な方法がいくらでもあるだろう。こんなの絶対に自殺なものか。
私だってそう思ってます。富武さんのだって自殺だなんて考えられない。
After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. And as we calmed our nerves, right then, I understood what Shion's story actually meant.
お社様のたたりってことになると思います。私たち、たたられるのに十分な資格がありますから。
資格って冗談じゃないぞ。別に俺は。
Shion wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault and no one else's.
シオン、お前は昨べ細工殿の中に忍び込んだらこうなるかもしれないと予想はついてたのか？
まさか、そりゃ多少はやばいとは思いましたけど、こんなことになるなんて夢にも思いませんでした。
Yeah, legally risky is not the same as spiritually risky. Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she would get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me.
それよりもケイちゃん、ちょっとよく考えてください。今年のお社様のたたりはおかしくないですか？
Yeah, it's not the same. It was already plenty strange seeing us how Tomitaki-san and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger?
死体が2つ見つかったってことです。言いましたよね。例年は1人が死んで1人が消えるんです。2人の死亡が確認されたのは今年が初めてです。
What if that means there's going to be 2 disappearances, though?
確かにそうかもしれない
Oh
けど。
boy.
いいえ、ケイちゃん。もっと真剣に考えてください。いいですか？2人の死がお社様のたたりということになってるなら、お社様の怒りを鎮めるための生贄も
Oh,
ま
it's
た2人
happening.
分必要なはずなんです。
そういう理屈になるのか？じゃあなんだよ。富武さんと高野さんが死んだ陰で、今年は2人が行方不明になってるってのか？
I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze.
まだ誰も行方不明になってないと思います。
Yeah.
多分2人が失踪するのは
Boy, if only there was a set of 2 people who could be main characters for this part. Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back.
これから2人が失踪する。
Shion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap it. Wait, a chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart. Cold hands feeling about on my chest. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitaki-san opened the lock and he died. Takano-san exposed the ritual storehouse and she died. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, then they would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us.
まさか冗談だろ？
I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitaki-san and Takano-san had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she burned to death, drowned in oil in the mountains. The 2 deaths were so out of the ordinary that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as mere coincidence. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must have been someone punishing us. Some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued knowing I was running away.
大地、そんなの新聞に出てないぞ。そんなに奇怪な事件なら絶対に新聞やテレビで報道するはずだろう。雑誌記者とかだって面白がって大勢来るに決まってる。
マスコミに報道されないのは当然なんです。過去にそうだったから。
When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there were some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma about it, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy, where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media.
村長とか、あと園崎家出身の金バッジが警察に思いっきり圧力をかけたんだって聞いてます。
じゃあつまり2人の死は秘密裏に処理されてしまったということか？
そういうことです。もちろん警察は捜査をしてますよ。でも秘匿捜査ということなので、捜査活動にはかなりの制限が加えられているそうです。これは事実上の捜査妨害と言えるでしょうね。
The story was unbelievable. People died. They don't publicize it and deal with everything in
もっ
secret.
と噛み砕いて言うと、綿流しの夜に誰が死んでも公にはならないということです。
そんなバカな話があってたまるか？
ケイちゃん、私以前にお社様のたたりは村人が起こしてるかもしれないって言いましたよね。つまりそういうことなんです。このひなみ沢では毎年綿流しの夜に お社様のたたりということにして誰かを殺してもいい土壌がいつの間にか作り上げられているんです。
Oh, you're just saying it out loud, huh? When someone dies on the night of the Watanagashi, it turns into the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into serial murder incidents. In order to avoid I hate that word. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret.
バカな。毎年死者と行方不明者が出るんだろ。いくらマイナスイメージって言ったって警察にも限度があるだろ。
We are screaming on the phone. There's no way our parents don't hear this.
毎年の事件が不可解っていうなら警察も本腰を入れられるんでしょうけど、何しろ毎年の事件は個別に解決してますので連続事件という形にならないんですよ。たまたま毎年綿流しの晩に不幸なことが起こる、それだけのことに。
Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away. But the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in essence, resolved. The dam supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year was an accidental death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations on the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital on his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy and concluded that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. In the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dam supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage, not the weed man. He confessed that he thought Oyashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so that incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was resolved independently.
なのになぜか毎年綿流しの晩に不幸な偶然が起こる。連続事件にしたくても連続にならないんです。それでも毎年必ず誰かが死んで誰かが消えていく。
Story Takano-san told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse had really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off.
じゃあ俺たちも狙われるっていうのか。毎年一人死ぬと一人が消えるように富武さんや高野さんの道連れに消えさせられるっていうのかよ。
My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me.
俺たちそりゃ確かに入っちゃいけないところだったかもしれないが見ただけだぜ。何かを盗んだり持ち出したり見たことを誰かに喋ったわけじゃないんだぜ。
I was already regretting having committed a wrong. But even so, is it really so bad that Tomitake-san and Takano-san deserve such cruel deaths?
第一、俺はあんなの見ても全然面白くなかったし、高野さんが見て一人で大喜びしてただけだろ。悪いのは高野さんだけだよ。
I mean, she kind of was. I feel like she is the impetus of all
俺は
this.
全然関係ないぜ。興味もないし関係ないし、あの中にあったものだって知ったことじゃない。
I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam. I couldn't stop them anymore.
俺はもともと興味なんか全然なかったんだ。リカちゃんの演舞を見ていたかっただけなんだ。それをシオンが勝手に連れ出したんじゃないか。あの二人が泥棒しようが相手しようがしたことじゃない。
He's really going out.
そうだよ。そもそもシオンが中に入ろうって言い出したんだ。ケイちゃんは見ておく必要があるとかなんとか思わせぶりなことを言って中に引き込んだんだ。どうしてくれるんだよ。俺は全然関係ないんだぞ。
Oh my god, this crash
どう
out.
すんだよ。どうすんだよ。どうやって責任を取ってくれるんだよ。
What a rant.
聞いてる。
Hello? Oh, without any warning, phone cut off with the soft sound of a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just. I like. Here's the thing. I feel this was a valid moment from him, but it also doesn't stop him from being an asshole for saying it. Like, I understand why he did this, but I disagree. You know? I just said some really self-centered things. My riled up emotions disappeared as if they never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. Could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. I mean, you could also press the redial button, but what have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I want to call her back, then remembered she lived in Okonomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Buddy, there's a redial... Wait, was this before redial buttons? It might actually be before redial buttons. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again.
もしもし、前原です。
I swept... Oh my god, it's gonna be Oishi, isn't it? I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment.
前原さんのお宅でしょうか。夜分遅くに失礼いたします。君吉と申します。
Who?
ご主人様でいらっしゃいますか？
It was the voice of a girl who clearly wasn't Shion. All my hopes rushed out of me. Who the frick is Kimiyoshi?
いえ、違いますけど、親父に用なら呼んできます。
I went to put the receiver back down, but the caller stopped me hurriedly.
あ、いえいえ、お忙しければ結構
Who
なん
the
です。
frick is this?
実は恐縮なんですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してませんでしょうか。
What?
いえ、誰も来てませんけど。
そうですか。夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんでした。
Who?
失礼いたします。
What the... I don't know who that was, but what if Shion had tried to call while I was on the phone? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maibara. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in that short time since we had our conversation and didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi Maibara. If Shion does call again, then first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Was that, like... I'm worried that Kimiyoshi there is related to Oishi. Late night phone call. Okay. We're still getting scrapbook stuff. Close calls. Form an alliance. Did we? I don't know if we did. Alright, let's check these. Significance of Watanagashi. Festival for hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival is remarkable, it's come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, found some interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to this literature, even the residents of Onigafuchi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit, but it was said that the feast of dissection was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Until now, I thought that the residents of Onigafuchi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar, barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them, they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, if what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination, but fear, then that would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's a possibility the executions were not meant as warnings, or were meant as warnings, encouraging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. Onigafuchi village had been effectively ruled over by three old families called the Three Families. Without investigating the three families, I probably won't get any closer to the truth of Onigafuchi village. Okay, Sonozaki's gonna be one. Is it literally Sonozaki, Furude, and, Ryugu? Is it just those? I mean, that would be crazy for my friend circle to be the literal three families. Well, here we go. Refers to three old families who effectively came to rule Onigafuchi village. To break it down, there was oh wait, Kimiyoshi family. Okay. Furude family and Sonozaki family. And each of them still exists today. What was Oishi's full name? Did we get that? Oh, is he Oishi Kimiyoshi? Oh my god. Wait, what if he is? Though they don't have as much control as they did in their own past, they still hold considerable influence today. The three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demon runs the thickest. Kimiyoshi appears to have held great powers as the head of the three families, but doesn't have that kind of leadership today. Current mayor of the village, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. Oh, the mayor! Is that the mayor's daughter? Is from this family. The fact that the members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as a mayor every generation is thought to be remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds the mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war era. Furude. Center of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Yashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Yashiro-sama for a long time, but the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house as well presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may well end this generation. There's apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter, Rika, is a subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. Sonozaki. So this family had a certain police-like role, protecting the religious precepts of the Onigafuchi village. Of the three families, the relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here last. Of course, today, the Sonozaki family is flourishing. The state of affairs among the families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. The current head of the Sonozaki family, Oryu, now that's an interesting name, of course. That name has some old meaning if you know anything about Fate Grand Order, for instance, or, Japanese history. Essentially decides all the goings-on in the village by herself. Oh. Okay. Does she also eat frogs? And is this the phone call of the police finding the body? Okay.
君吉と申しますが、ご主人でいらっしゃいますか。はい。いえいえ、その説は本当にありがとうございます。それでですね、こんな時間に大変恐縮なのですが、うちのおじいちゃんがお邪魔してないかと思いまして。
Wait, what the frick?
ですよね。はい。
Was he using a voice changer?
こんな時間にもうそれでは失礼いたします。ごめんください。
どうだい？ダメ？
参ったな。どんなに熱中しても電話くらいはしてくれる人なんだけれどな。
囲碁の人の家は全部電話したんでしょ？
はい、君吉です。
園崎です。どうです？村長さんは見つかりましたか？
Wait, what?
ああ、ミオンちゃんか。片っ端から電話をかけてみたけど、ダメだよ。
Oh no, this isn't the mayor? Okay.
見つからないんだ。
So they're calling everyone looking for the Oh my god, did the mayor go
参
missing?
ったな。どこで油を売ってるのかな。
こっちでも心当たりにいろいろと問い合わせましたけど、全然。バッチャにも相談したんですが、青年団を招集して探し回った方がいいだろうということです。
こんな時間にかい。それに別に行方不明になったと決まったわけでもないし。
綿流しの直後ですから、少し慎重に扱った方がいいとのことです。それでも見つからないなら、明朝警察に通報しましょう。見つかる見つからないは別にして、痛くない腹を探られない方がいいでしょうから。
おりょうさんがそう言ったのかい。
はい。直接声を聞かないと信用できないなら、電話先に出させますよ。
いえ、わかりました。
But he doesn't want to talk to her.
青年団を集めて探しましょう。それで見つからなければ翌朝に警察に通報します。
青年団の連絡もよろしくお願いしますね。私もバッチャの代行ということでそちらに参ります。
ありがとう。すぐにみんなを集めます。
ええ。では。
Huh. So okay, so they're literally just calling everyone because the mayor's gone missing. That's concerning, man. Is the mayor one of the ones who got spirited away? But why? What's his relation in all this, you know? Man, the mysteries continue to deepen. So, with that said, I will see you all next time, everyone, for some more Let's Read Higurashi as we go into Chapter 9. Things are, well, they're picking up for sure. I'll see you guys next time for some more. Ciao.